Now, Yazid, the man, is responsible for the tragedy of Karbala, as well as the blood that was shed in Medina during the incident of Al-Harr. When it comes to Hussein, alayhi salam, it is clear from anyone who read the early reliable books that Yazid never ordered him dead. It's very clear for anybody who does an analysis and a study of the early historic narration. Yazid never ordered that Hussein be killed. Rather, he ordered that the rebellion be stopped. He told them to stop it. However, the people that Yazid placed in charge of this task were impious, irresponsible, and arrogant, that they couldn't negotiate with Al-Hussein alayhi salam, and this led to his martyrdom. They couldn't communicate with the man and reason with him. This ended up with Al-Hussein being killed. So there are two types of reports concerning the aftermath of Hussein's death. Some portray Yazid as being happy. He was overjoyed that Al-Hussein was killed. And other reports portray him as being sorry for rebuking those responsible for the crime. Now, based on my personal reading, the first problem is all of these reports are weak, as far as I know. If you know something that's authentic, let me know. They're all weak. Nothing in this regard is authentic, which is why we can't tell what is correct and what is not correct. But we can analyze and we can reach a conclusion. So what I did was, after analyzing, is that the correct position is that Yazid was actually sorry and upset. And the reason I reached this conclusion is nobody had a motivation to fabricate this. The Sunnis wouldn't fabricate these reports because Sunnis hated Yazid and they didn't want to make him look good. Nasibis wouldn't fabricate these reports because Nasibis hated Hussein alayhi salam. So why would they fabricate a report about Yazid being sad about Hussein's death? They hated Hussein. Shi'is wouldn't fabricate this because Shi'is hate Yazid and they wouldn't want to make Yazid look good as well. And Kharijis, the Khawarij, wouldn't fabricate these because the Khawarij view Yazid as an evil sinner and they view lying as haram. They wouldn't even fabricate it anyways. As for the opposite opinion, that Yazid was happy and overjoyed, the Shia had strong motivations to make it up. They had really strong motivations to make it up, and we find similar texts, similar fabrications in their books today that are just incomprehensibly, odd. Anyways, it was reported in historical texts that he shouted at his soldiers when they brought him Hussein's relatives in shackles. So as you know, Hussein's relatives were arrested and they were brought to Syria. And Yazid shouted at the person who brought them and said, listen to what Yazid says. He says, if they were your own relatives, you wouldn't have dishonored them like this. Because Yazid, the whole thing is that Yazid was advised by his father, it was in his father's will, to treat Hussein well. And Yazid was an Umayyad, and Hussein was a Hashemite, and they were cousins. So he felt insulted that his relatives would be treated that way. As for the story of Yazid poking Hussein's head with a stick, right? You guys remember this? This is inaccurate. What's true is that this was actually done by Ubaydullah bin Ziyad. Ubaydullah bin Ziyad was the one who was actually poking Hussein's head with a stick or with a cane. Now, you're going to tell me, well, Yazid never punished those responsible for the crime. That is absolutely correct. Yazid, it did not reach us that he punished anybody for this crime. Why did Yazid do this? Again, we go back to politics. Yazid was a politician. He was not known for piety or religiousness. He was known for politics. He was a politician from Bani Umayyah. And the most important thing for him is the throne, is the seat of power. So he was fearful of, first of all, he was fearful of the coming revolutions. And he prioritized his position as leader over the fulfillment of justice. If he had punished them, meaning if he had punished the killers of Hussein, he would lose his closest allies, because the people who punished Hussein are actually, the people who killed Hussein, are actually some of Yazid's closest and most loyal commanders. They were very much pro-Umayyad. So punishing them, he would lose, the army's morale would drop and he would lose a lot of his supporters. So he preferred that people hold anti-Alawite sentiments so that he could keep himself in authority. And this is why Yazid is classed without a doubt as a Nasibi. No one will discuss Yazid being a Nasibi. Yazid is clearly a Nasibi. But he wouldn't, he wouldn't punish because he was afraid after this revolution there's going to be other, and there were other revolutions after it. So the situation was very shaky for him. He didn't want to risk getting overthrown, just so that he can fulfill justice and punish the killers of Hussein. He wasn't going to do that. Again, you have to think like they think. Again, even though Yazid is a bad man, and he's an impious man, and he's a wicked person, the Shia over-exaggerated it. Just to give you an example of unrealistic fabrications, we quote the words of their scholar As-Saduq. This is one of their scholars. In his book Al-Uyun, meaning Uyun Akhbar al-Rida, he said, when Hussein's head reached Yazid, he ordered that a dining table be placed on top of it, and he invited guests and began eating and drinking. Again, the table is placed on top of Hussein's head. Then he ordered that a board of chess, the game chess, shatranj, be placed on top of the head so that he can play chess and drink alcohol with his friends. This is all in the same hadith. He would take 3 sips, then pour the rest on top of Hussein's head. While playing, then he would mock Hussein and mock Ali and mock the Prophet ﷺ. Who's gonna buy this? Like, who's gonna believe? Seriously. Anyways, you can see that they're trying to overly exaggerate how bad Yazid was. So that was a simple from the fabrication of the Shia attribute to Yazid. Scholars of Ahl Sunnah did harshly criticize Yazid, and they reported some acts of irreligiosity committed by Yazid. Yet the exaggerations in the Shia books, they stand up. They just stand out. Another Nasibi personality that we're going to talk about is Busr ibn Arta. Busr was from the Shia of Muawiyah, and he was the one who testified in Asham that Ali was from Uthman's killers. He testified, he spread that. It's possible that he was the first who spread this type of thing in Syria. He also killed some of Ali's followers in Medina, then demolished their houses. He killed Ubaidullah ibn Abbas's children because he was previously a governor of Ali. Ubaidullah ibn Abbas was a governor of Ali. So Busr, got his revenge. He killed some of the man's children. As you can see, this guy is a hardcore Nasibi. This guy is from the hardcore Nasibis. So one day Busr was sitting in Muawiyah's presence while Zayd bin Umar al-Khattab was sitting there. Zayd bin Umar al-Khattab, as you know, is the son of Kulthum, daughter of Ali and Fatima, alayhim salam. And Kulthum, daughter of Ali and Fatima, she married Umar al-Khattab. And their son is Zayd bin Umar al-Khattab, who was a really big shot in his time because he's the son of both Umar and Ali. I mean, you can't get more honor than that. So Busr, being a strict Uthmani, Nasibi, went and criticized Ali in front of Zayd. He went and he criticized Ali in front of Zayd. Zayd was sitting there. And I think Muawiyah was sitting there. Then he called Zayd son of Abu Turab, meaning to insult him. So Zayd bin Umar ibn Khattab said, "Are you talking to me?" He's like, "Are you talking to me? May your mother forsake you? Are you addressing this to me, this insult?" Then they got into a fight, and so Zayd grabbed Busr, put him on the floor and choked him, and he busted his head. He busted Busr's head and he choked him. So Muawiyah, that was sitting there, he was the Khalifa, and this happened in one of his gatherings. He reproached both men for behaving in that way, and he told Busr, "You know he is the son of Al-Faruq. yet you curse his grandfather Ali in front of him. Do you think he would tolerate this? So he's basically telling Busr what a stupid thing to do. But this also shows that Muawiyah only objected because Zayd was there. Meaning if Zayd was not there, maybe Muawiyah would not have objected to somebody criticizing Ali. And that's a thing. Next person we're going to discuss is Umar bin Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. He is the son of the pious Sahabi Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. Obviously, he was nothing like his father. Sa'd, radiallahu anhu, had abandoned politics and he lived a peaceful life of worship, whereas his son Umar was a seeker of status and power. That's what he was going after. He was placed as a commander of Ubaidullah's soldiers, Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad, and tasked with preventing Hussein alayhi from reaching Kufa. Although he was reluctant to engage al-Hussein, yet when his own self-interest was on the line, he agreed to order his troops to fight Hussein alayhi in exchange for his personal safety and in exchange for a promotion. That is Umar bin Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, clearly a Nasibi.